Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our webinar today on RTX real-time corrections for asset, telecom, and utility mapping. I'm Angie Swirsky, the Mapping and GIS Sales Manager for NEI. On the phone with me is Justin Customer, who is the Sales Manager for Trimble Advanced Positioning, as well as Tawfiq Ahmed, who is the Project Engineer also with Trimble Advanced Positioning. So they will be covering the benefits of satellite-delivered RTX corrections related to asset, telecom, and utility mapping. When's the right time to use RTX? What's new with RTX, as well as the differences between RTX and VRS. Just to let everyone know, we are recording this webinar and we'll make it available afterwards for you to view again or share with some colleagues that you think might be interested or that otherwise couldn't make it. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box and we will have time at the end to answer as many as we can. We're also going to be doing some poll questions throughout, and we appreciate the feedback. So we're always looking for new ways to get advanced technologies into our customers' hands, and bringing RTX to the customers is something that we feel is going to be very beneficial to you all in the long run. So on that note, I will turn it over to Justin to start with the agenda.
Cool. Thanks, Angie. There we go. So today what we'd like to do is some intros, give you a little bit of background information about navigation electronics and also the Trimble Positioning Services team. I'm going to review the different options that you have today for real-time corrections and then dive into specifically the Trimble RTX solution. I'll review the technology, the benefits that you get by using this type of service, how to get a demo subscription, how to purchase the subscriptions. We'll go through the different points of contact that you're going to have at NEI, and then we'll spend some time doing questions and answers with any questions that you all may have during the presentation. Now, let me turn it back to Angie so she can tell us a little bit about NEI.
Yes, if there's anyone on the line that hasn't worked with NEI before, we've been in business well over 30 years. And we did start off as one of the original Trimble dealers. And we really value Trimble as a partner and believe in the technologies that they provide. We've grown exponentially over the years, and I'd want to take a minute to say we couldn't do it without the loyalty of our customers, so thank you all very much.
So within Trimble, we are the advanced positioning team. We have a global reach, but we provide local service and support. We're still considered a small team within Trimble. We're about 250 strong right now, but we have very important roles within the large organization at Trimble, where we blanket over all the other hardware departments and provide a real-time correction source to our customers. Myself and Tawfiq are based here in Westminster, Colorado. We also have a team in Houston, Texas. Our technology team is based in Munich, Germany, and those are the guys that developed the VRS technology about 20 years ago, and also developed the RTX technology about 8-9 years ago as well. So all of our PhDs and engineers and the heavy science is coming out of Munich. We do have customer care teams around the world as well. They're based in Australia, South Africa, Europe, and Brazil, and then the 2 locations that I mentioned here in the United States. So what that means is that we have 24/7 monitoring of our services and provide 24/7 support. So if you're working in the middle of the night and you're unable to get a hold of anybody at NEI for whatever reason, and you need some support, you can always call us directly too. Our NetOps team and our customer care team are here to help. Angie, you want to go ahead and do the first poll question?
Yeah, so the first poll question is, what are you currently using for a real-time correction? I'll give everyone about 15-20 seconds to answer. All right, it looks like a majority are using a VRS, or a core station. That's a couple cores, couple VRS, or a few VRS. Oh wait, there's some more votes coming in. Okay, the 50% is that base and rover, cores is number 3, and then VRS comes in second. So I'll leave that with you, Justin, and carry on.
All right, thank you. So you're going to have different, tools for the job. A real-time correction is just going to be, consider that another tool along with your hardware. It sounds like most everybody on the phone, is using a higher accuracy correction source, but you do have, a lot of different options available. When you get a job and it says, okay, I need to, deliver points at say 6-inch accuracy. So you can go out and just perform a static collection, and do your post-processing. There's the base and rover option. SBAS is free, with satellite delivered corrections. You can always log into a single base cores or an RTK array. It sounds like a number of you are using the VRS Now network, which is fantastic. Thank you. But we also have the option of using RTX, and that's what we want to spend some time talking about today. So these are all different types of real-time corrections. So you have the SBAS corrections, which is free from the government, delivered via satellite. So your equipment needs to be L-band capable to receive that. You also have your RTK options, which is more the traditional methodology where you set up your base and your rover, or you log into a continuously operating reference station and you pull data off of that. Then as you move down, you have your network corrections, something like a VRS, which we maintain down in the south as well. So with that, you would log in with your username and password and authenticate into the network. But you need a cell correction to be able to get in that. You need to be physically in the network and be around a base station for that to work. And then we also have the option of the satellite delivered RTX stream. So with that, you don't need to be around a base. All you need is a clear view of the sky, and you're going to get the same level or similar level of accuracy that you would with an RTK solution. So with that, we'd like to do another poll question. And Angie, would you mind rolling that up? I think we're having a small technical difficulty. Waiting for Angie to come back online, everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my fault. I was on mute. I apologize. Anyways, the poll results came in, and it's 67% are at centimeter. So a good vast majority of everyone on this call is using centimeter, which is awesome. And then evenly distributed again between decimeter and submeter.
Perfect. Good to see that most of the people are using high-level accuracy corrections already. So I'll just breeze through this since we are kind of working more in the centimeter world here. You can always go out and do an autonomous collection and just work with the GNSS satellites that are above you. But with that, you're typically going to get 5 meter or better accuracy. It's not a very accurate real-time correction source to use, but it is freely available and out there. Same thing with SBAS. You can log into SBAS. There's no cost to use it, and there is a correction made on the GPS satellites, and that would get you down to a 1 to 2 meter accuracy, but you're still talking 3, 5, 6 feet accuracy. When you start getting into RTK solutions where you're using a single base and rover, you're logging into a cores network, at that point you're talking sub-inch accuracy, 2 centimeter accuracy, and same thing when you're working in a VRS network as well, and you authenticate in, because we're using local ground-based stations to provide the corrections to you. With Trimble RTX, the key here is that there's no base station required. This is something that we can deliver pretty much anywhere in the world as long as you have a good, clear view of the sky and you have a subscription to the RTX solution. We can deliver sub-inch accuracy, 2 centimeter level corrections down there to you. So what this is doing is it's providing a similar level that RTK would, but it's freeing you from some of the constraints that an RTK network would have. So there's no modem, there's no radio, There's no base that you need to deal with. There's no cell phone connection that you need to deal with. All you would have to do is authenticate. Have a subscription into the network for RTX, and then just have a clear view of the sky, and it's going to beam down to you. So very similar to what you're doing, but just in a completely different method. So we like to say if you have no base, no cell, no problem if you're using RTX. As I mentioned, completely frees you from that infrastructure. All you need is good visibility of the sky, see some GPS and GLONASS satellites. You need to have your subscription and visibility to the L-band satellite, and you're going to be off and running with sub-inch accuracy corrections there. This is really good if you're working in an area where there is no VRS infrastructure. You guys are lucky in the fact that you do have options, in your area for corrections, but there's a lot of parts of the country where we just don't have any infrastructure, or the infrastructure doesn't extend out where you're working. So for those of you that do use the VRS, maybe there's some pockets where we don't have coverage, or the cell phone coverage is a little flaky, or there's a lot of people using the cell phone tower in the area, and you get latency in your data, and there's certain times a day where maybe it's not advantageous to use the network. This is where satellite delivered correction like RTX would really shine. Now, I do want to warn you, it's not, the silver bullet that's going to work in every situation. If you're under heavy canopy, under heavy tree canopy, or if you're in an urban canopy and you have large high rises to the south and they're obstructing your view, it's not going to work. You still need to have a good view of the sky and still maintain good survey practice. But RTX does work in a number of environments and situations that the traditional RTK methodology wouldn't. So it's a really good option, I think, for everybody to look into. Some other times, where we think it would be beneficial to use a service like this, like I mentioned, where you just don't have any coverage, or their cell phone coverage is poor. If you're working in a large project area, maybe in a remote area, and it's not practical to move a base station, every so many miles so that you get really tight corrections. Maybe there isn't a core station around, or you're having to log in and out of multiple core stations, as you go through, and it's just not a convenient way to do your job. You would just have one source of data correction here, using RTX. Maybe you're a smaller company and you don't have the staff or the capital to invest in a base and a rover. You just want a rover and you want to go out and do your work, as a solo surveyor. So something like RTX would really solve a problem like that. RTX is available in different levels of accuracy as well. So if you don't need RTK level accuracy, we do have different options available where you can do a 6-inch or a 1 foot or sub-meter, and you're not paying for the cream of the crop best level RTK. You're getting just what you need. You're paying for just what you need. There may be other situations too where you just are working in a rolling hill area and you don't have good radio line of sight, and you would have to move your station around, and it's just not convenient, and allows you to work quickly. So in a situation like that, satellite delivered correction like RTX would really shine and benefit you and allow you to work a lot more efficiently than you would with traditional methods. So I've been talking about RTX. Well, what exactly is it? RTX stands for real-time extended. It sounds like everybody in the audience is familiar with RTK, real-time kinematic. So this is real-time extended. The extended piece is regarding the coverage. We have global coverage for RTX, and as I mentioned before, your distance to a base station does not impact the accuracy of your correction. So this really does extend the usage and your ability to work from traditional RTK. It's a global positioning technology, and we're using multiple GNSS positioning systems. We have base stations around the world, only 140 or so base stations around the world that are providing, the 1-inch accuracy. So you don't have to have that dense network of RTK stations like you would, with a VRS network. But this does dovetail very nicely into our existing technology because we are still using base stations, but just in a very different way. So, the existing Trimble technology that's out there is something that we can benefit from and pull, feeds off of and improve our RTX service as well. I want to mention that this is not a new technology. It's something that was introduced in 2011, so it is been used for at least the last 8 years. We have a number of customers using it in the agricultural world, but also geospatial and construction. And right now we have 100,000 users around the world that are currently using RTX in one capacity or another. Really, the reason that I think I'm talking to you all today is because we made some very big improvements at the end of 2018, where we improved the accuracy of the service, and we also cut down the convergence time of the service to make it a much more beneficial and useful product for you all in the audience. Now, on the right-hand side, what I'd like you to notice is that Trimble RTX is in the center. That's the core technology of the correction services that we're talking about. And from that core RTX technology, we can deliver 4 different levels of accuracy. Centerpoint RTX being the highest level of accuracy, and then we go down to a sub-meter product with viewpoint. For those of you that use the R10 and some of our other survey equipment, there is an option called exfil, where we can fill in a little bit of time if you lose your local RTK signal. And that's just something that you can enable for free, in your hardware. And then for those of you that do static collections and post-process, you're probably using Opus for your post-processing. We also do have an RTK post-processing engine that's freely available to you as well. You can just go and register to the site, and you can upload as many jobs as you want and use our base stations to process your data against. And you get very similar accuracy and results and reports that you would with Opus. And for anybody that's curious to start using RTX, this may be a good way to introduce yourself to it and see the results that we can provide with our base stations. As mentioned, we do provide 4 different levels of accuracy through RTX, each at a different price point. The most accurate being Centerpoint at 2 centimeters, then going to FieldPoint at 10 centimeters. And then for folks using or having lower accuracy projects, we do have a 30 centimeter, 1 foot and a half meter option as well with RTX. So how does this system work? I've alluded to that it's providing similar accuracy to an RTK network, but it's a different beast all in itself. So these are called PPP systems, precise point positioning systems versus RTK. What we're doing here, and if you all can see my cursor, these satellites up here represent the GNSS satellites. So this is Galileo, this is GPS, this is GLONASS, all orbiting up in the sky. Right here, these 4 stations represent our global tracking stations. So this would represent those 140 base stations that are installed around the world that I mentioned before. And what they're doing is they are permanent installations. They're just looking up, and whatever GNSS satellites they can see, they're collecting data from them. And then they're sending that information down to our control center. So this is in Germany and also in the United States. We do have redundant backup centers. And what we're doing here is we're receiving the GNSS information off of the satellites. And here we're performing our modeling and algorithms to the data to take out the errors that you would in a traditional RTK setup. You're taking out the same errors here at the computer level. And then from there, we're sending the corrected stream either to a satellite uplink station or over IP. And you can also receive RTX over IP if that's beneficial to you. But they're going to go up to the satellite uplink station, over to the L-band communication station, and then down to you here in the field. And it's going to hit your receiver and provide that 1-inch accuracy to compare against what you're seeing with your local GNSS satellites that you see above you. So it's a very large network, of a global system using 140 stations, going to a central computer station, taking out the errors, and then sending that corrected stream back to you, the user out in the field. So here, what this is a representation of on the top are the normal, or the errors that you would see in a traditional RTK method at the rover and at the station are identical. And what you're doing is you're taking out the differences between the two. And then over here on the right, this represents your 1-inch corrected data stream. So this is, your GNSS real-time correction over here. At the bottom, this is the methodology, that we're using with RTX. And you can see it's a different method of taking out the exact same errors, and we're providing the same level of accuracy with the same errors removed on the right-hand side. But we're doing it a different way, and really right here, this is where it's happening at the computer level, where we're applying our models and algorithms, at that server, taking out the errors and then delivering them to you over here on the right-hand side. So Same, really the same experience that you would have in the field, but just using a different methodology and a different setup than you would with a traditional, base and rover or course network. As we mentioned, it is a global system, and anywhere that you can see that's colored here on the map represents a satellite communication area that we deliver RTX from. Each one has a different frequency, so anybody working in North America just logs into the North American beam, and you can work anywhere in the lower 48 without having to change your frequency or setup. If you do have international projects, you would just change your setup, different frequency, and you're off and running, using the same subscription that you have here in the United States. Now, if you notice, though, in the US and also in Europe, we have two different colors under the same satellite broadcast. What we have are different pockets where we're able to deliver the RTX service more quickly than in other areas. So here in the lower 48, anywhere that's colored in orange, we can deliver RTX in 1 to 2 minutes. So from the time that you turn your hardware on and you have it set up to receive the RTX corrected stream, it's going to only take 1 to 2 minutes for the information to be received on your hardware and be computed down to that 1-inch level. Where if you're using, an RTK system, it's more or less instantaneous. You log in and you authenticate in, and the coordinates that you receive are going to be that sub-inch accuracy. It does take a minute or two for RTX to work because there's computation going on in the background. The areas that are in white right now, we are actively working on closing them in so that we can deliver, the best experience in the fast service where you only have to wait 1 or 2 minutes. But in those areas of white, the wait time is only about 8 minutes. So it's really not a whole lot longer. But it is, a little bit more than you would in the orange. So as you can see, in a lot of NEI's territories, we do have the FAST already in place. So Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, parts of Arkansas, and a little bit of Louisiana down there. But we're working diligently to get the rest of Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas filled in so that you all will get the absolute best experience, with the service possible. And hopefully, maybe by this time next year, this will be completely filled in, and everywhere that you work, you get the same level of, the same timing with the convergence. But you will have the same level of accuracy, the same experience with RTX anywhere in the lower 48. It's just a slight difference of timing on the convergence. But if you compare this to setting up and tearing down a base station, or the time taken to set up a static shot and the post-processing, waiting 8 minutes, it really is not a long time at all. And it definitely would still, I think, benefit you, in the long run. So with that, we do have our last set of poll questions, and I'm going to turn this back over to Angie and run through the last couple of questions with the audience here.
All right, thanks, Justin. This next poll question is a two-part. So I'm going to launch the first part, which is just going to ask you if you're currently using Trimble GPS hardware. All right, just going to give it a few more seconds for some votes to come in. All right, 100% of those that voted say yes, that they are. So this will bring me into the next question, which is, if you answered yes, what are you using? And if you're using different types of devices, what are you primarily using? All right, just going to give it a few more seconds. All right, the majority of everyone on the call is using R2s, and then everyone else is almost evenly mixed between R1, R10, and Geo. So awesome, thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, it's really good to hear. I appreciate having all those customers in the audience. That's really good to know. Um, so RTX is going to be specific to Trimble hardware. This isn't something that we make available to third-party hardware. So anybody that's using, say, an R10, an R2, the Geo, the TDC 150, different, other survey equipment or equipment, from other divisions within Trimble, they're going to be RTX compatible to one degree or another. Not every piece of equipment uses every level of accuracy. So this is something, if you're curious about using RTX, contact your local NEI rep and they can walk you through what's available for your particular piece of hardware. I also want to point out the R1 over here on the right. Trimble has a promotion that is rolling out today where for $100 more than the standard list price of the hardware, you can also get the RTX Viewpoint, a one-year subscription along with it for just an additional $100, where normally it's a $400 subscription. And that would provide you sub-meter real-time in the field corrections for 365 days after you purchase the hardware. For those of you out there with the R2s and the R10s and the Geos, we are offering a 30-day free trial. This isn't, you don't have to write this down. Angie will follow up and send you the information with the web link and the promotional code. But anybody that's interested in now trying the service after listening to the presentation, I would very much encourage you to go out there, register for the 30-day subscription. You'll receive an email with an alphanumeric passcode that you just enter into your web user interface. And from that point, you'll have 30 days to go out and use the service. So please go ahead and take advantage of that. If you are then interested in purchasing RTX, it's really super easy to do. Go ahead and just contact your NEI representative. Provide them with the type of hardware that you have and the serial number of that hardware. And within 24 hours or less, you will have an activated RTX subscription for 365 days that you can go out into the field and use. Keep in mind when you're talking to your NEI rep, if you're interested, we do offer multiple year subscriptions, and for each year that you purchase, there's a 5% discount on that year. So if you purchase a 5-year subscription, you're actually only paying for 4, and you get that 5th year for free. We do have auto renew options available, so that way you're just going to get an invoice and receive your activation code every year, and you don't have to worry about phoning anybody at NEI to be renewed. So you can ask for that. And for most of the hardware, we have an option where you can do an over-the-air activation. So as long as that your hardware is set up and configured for RTX, we can beam the signal from the satellite down there to you, and it would activate over the air, and you don't have to type anything in. Or we send that alphanumeric passcode to you, and at your leisure, you can go into the web user interface and go ahead and activate your hardware whenever it's convenient to you. So whenever you're ready, though, just go ahead and contact your rep, and they will be more than happy to help you out. And when you're talking to your rep, just want to let you know, we do have a couple promotions that NEI wants to talk about as well. Angie?
Yeah, so we are offering a couple of advertised promotions on the R2 subfoot and the R2 RTK. The subfoot would come with the FieldPoint RTX for just under, $1,000 off, and you getting a couple thousand savings too on the R2 RTK with CenterPoint. We do have our other configurations, the Geos and TDC 150s are also part of the promo. Just talk to your local representative and they can walk you through what's available and what that pricing would be. So great promotion, take advantage of it. We'll be running this until December 31st. And then the next slide, Justin.
Yeah, excellent. Those are some really good deals, Angie, because our list cost, as you can see, for a 1-year CenterPoint service would be $1,995, and FieldPoint would be $1,250 per year per unit that's subscribed to it. So your promotions are definitely providing a good sale to the customers and saving them some money here. But if anybody's interested in purchasing the subscriptions, this would be the yearly costs right here. And here are all your NEI representatives. So when you're ready to ask questions, or go ahead and call them.
Yeah, if you're not sure who your local rep is, I know most people on this call, I recognize a lot of the names, but right now we have myself. If you're in Alabama, just contact me, but everyone else is listed throughout the territory. They've been more than happy to give you a demonstration, walk through any additional questions you might have, and talk about the different levels of RTX that would suit your needs.
Okay, and with that, we'd like to open up to any questions that you all may have.
All right, Justin, I was monitoring the questions. There's a few I'd like to have us answer, and I know Tawfiq is on the line as well. So let me see. Tawfiq, what happens if a customer temporarily loses the RTX or GNSS signal?
Hello, hi everyone. I'm Tawfiq here. I'm the product manager for Trimble RTX. So if you do temporarily lose the correction signal that you get from RTX, you can continue positioning. Your positions will degrade over time the longer you go without that signal. But if you reacquire that signal, you'll actually very rapidly reconverge, and you can just continue positioning as though you had not lost that signal.
All right, here's another one. I want to switch between satellite and IP delivered corrections. Would I need 2 RTX subscriptions?
No, actually, every subscription that you purchase will gives you access to both satellite and IP delivered corrections. So with a single subscription, you can utilize one or the other or both.
All right, good. Well, since you're on a roll, I'll ask the third question. Just can you speak to just our RTX service is reliable?
Sure. Yeah, the RTX service is actually very reliable. From the collection of data, we have a very large global tracking network with redundancy, along with redundancy in our servers for calculating those algorithms for the high accuracy corrections. And on top of that, we have a global team of network operations specialists as well as IT specialists that are constantly monitoring the network to make sure there are no issues, and if there are, they're quick to fix them.
All right, great. So those are the 3 big questions that come in. Thank you for those answers, Tawfiq. I guess if there's nothing else, I'd like to say thank you for attending today. I will be sending a follow-up email with some links to our different products, the RTX, the code for the demo subscription, and also, like I said in the beginning, the recording of this webinar itself. So in the meantime, you feel free to reach out at anyone here at NEI with any questions you may have. And again, thank you for your time this morning. And thanks, Justin and Tawfiq. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.